Sword of Coming Episode 7. In the previous episode, Chen Ping'an navigated the bustling town alone. A young woman with unmatched skill and determination, unaware of the powerful figures observing her from the shadows. A brocade-robed boy, obsessed with a radiant jade seal, and his loyal old servant, tried to maintain control over the chaotic alley. But when an assassin's rock threatened the boy, the young woman's lightning-fast reflexes and mastery of the flying sword turned the tide in an instant. With a single command, she eliminated the masked threat effortlessly, leaving both the boy and his guardians stunned and wary of her true power. At the end of the previous episode, the brocade-robed boy, unbothered by the danger, decided that an apology was the only way forward, stepping toward the young woman while the old servant wrestled with a storm of fear and pride. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. The young woman paid no heed to the brocade-robed boy that was approaching her. Instead, she looked over his shoulder and cast her gaze toward the old man as she said with a displeased expression, "Just now, you tried to kill me out of the blue. You had your reasons, but I still think what you did was wrong." The boy, dressed in fine brocade, stopped a few meters away, his expression serious as he introduced himself. "My name is Gao Zhen," he said, "and I am from Yiyang County of the Great Sui Nation. If Grandpa Wu has caused you offense in any way, then I am willing to apologize on his behalf and offer you compensation." Behind him, the old man, Wu Yu, watched silently, his heart a mixture of pride and apprehension. Gao Zhen had only partially revealed the truth about himself. Though his introduction was not false, it was far from complete. In reality, the Gao clan had ruled the Great Sui Nation for the entirety of its 1200-year history. And Yiyang County was the seat of the imperial family. The boy speaking before her was not an ordinary youth, he was a prince, destined to inherit a vast empire. The young woman, however, remained unmoved. She tightened the bandages around her hands and addressed the old man directly. Her voice calm but firm. "In the outside world, I would be powerless against a master martial artist of your level, likely already at the Windsor tier. But here, in this place, all I have to do is call upon my flying sword, and your demise will be sealed." Wu Yu's eyes darkened, a flicker of irritation and disbelief crossing his face. "That assassin just now," he said, "was only a peak lesser grandmaster. Even if he had known about your flying sword, all he would have needed to do is protect his vital regions. And you would have been unable to harm him. And I am 2 entire stages above him. The Windsor tier between us is insurmountable for martial artists. What gives you the confidence to claim you can defeat me?" The young woman's brows furrowed slightly, and she rested her hand on the hilt of her saber. "I detest pointless arguments," she said sharply. "If you are not convinced that I can back up my claims, then let us settle this with a fight." The old man's fury surged. If they were not in this strange, self-sustaining realm, even with her aptitude, the girl would be utterly no match for him. A single strike from him could crush her entirely. His duty, however, bound him to protect Gao Zhen, the young prince, the pride and hope of the Great Sui Nation. Regardless of his personal feelings, he could not let her pose a threat. Seeing the tension rise, Gao Zhen quickly intervened. He opened a cloth pouch at his waist and drew out a jade seal. Holding it out to the young woman, "I hope this will suffice as a gesture of apology," he said. "In exchange, I ask that you do not pursue this matter further. Grandpa Wu's actions were out of loyalty to me, and he holds no personal grudge against you." Wu Yu's reaction was one of horror. He dropped to one knee, his voice trembling. "Please reconsider, Your Highness. I am merely a useless servant. And that seal is of immeasurable value. It could alter the fate of our entire empire. By surrendering it, you are forcing me to take my own life." The young woman, seemingly unmoved, sneered. "What a pair of pitiful fools," she said. "Just because you see this seal as priceless does not mean it has any value to me. Keep it. A righteous individual does not steal from others." Without waiting for a response, she turned and departed, her steps light and confident. Gao Zhen exhaled in relief and turned to the old man. "Get up, Grandpa Wu," he said. "You are making a fool of yourself. Only past emperors have ever been knelt to by the 12 chief eunuchs. If anyone from the supervisory divisions or the Ministry of Rites witnessed this, we could be in serious trouble. Thanks to my ancestors, we have obtained what we came for. Let us not risk further complications. Even after rejoining our people, we cannot be complacent. The Yuan and Cao clans of the Great Li Empire are sworn enemies of our great Sui nation, and anything that hinders your ability in battle could imperil my safe return. Wu Yu rose slowly, nodding. I am well aware of this, Your Highness. The young woman was already over 20 meters away when a gentle breeze blew past Gao Zhen, rustling his robes. Wu Yu, however, had no intention of letting her escape. With tremendous force, he stomped forward, each step sending the earth trembling, and leapt into the air to strike. The young woman pivoted on her left foot and drew her saber. A dazzling streak of white light cut through the alley, but Wu Yu's fist struck the saber, leaving only a light gash on his hand. He continued his assault, pressing her backward. With one swift movement, he extended his palm toward her forehead, ready to crush her. In a split second, a flying sword intervened, striking him from behind. Wu Yu's expression remained unchanged as he caught the sword's tip between two fingers and forced it back, preventing her immediate demise. The young woman seized the opening to retreat, vanishing quickly from sight. Gao Zhen's fists clenched in fury. Seal-holding eunuch of the Directorate of Imperial Horses. Wu Yu, why do you go against my orders? He yelled. She meant no harm and allowed the matter to rest. Why do you act so ungratefully? Wu Yu turned, his aura suffocating, eyes calm yet piercing. Your Highness, whether my actions are punishable by death is for His Majesty to decide. My sole objective is your safety. That woman is a potent threat. Only by eliminating her can I ensure your protection. Gao Zhen, anger blazing in his eyes, snapped back. You have completely defied me, foiling my plans to recruit her as an ally. She is an extraordinary prodigy, rare even among the cultivators of the Eastern Treasured Vile Continent. In 10 or 20 years, she could be the deadliest assassin under my command. Do not forget, I am the future heir to the great Sui nation, and you are merely a servant. Wu Yu's eyes, surprisingly, reflected pride. Your Highness, there are dangers in this world you have not yet seen, but you resemble His Majesty in your youth, and I am proud of how you have developed. An awkward silence followed. Gao Zhen realized his rashness and was about to apologize when Wu Yu spoke. Do not apologize to your servants. It is unbefitting of your status. Even if you feel guilt, bury it within your heart. A ruler's words are law, and precious time must not be wasted. Suddenly, Wu Yu tensed, sensing a formidable presence. He dragged Gao Zhen behind him, eyes locking on the lifeless masked assassin. A tall, graceful middle-aged scholar had appeared at the alley's end, removing his mask to reveal a face disfigured from imprisonment. Gao Zhen stepped forward, respectful. May I ask if you are Mr. Qi from Mountain Cliff Academy? The scholar merely acknowledged them, hinting at the danger they had avoided. Gao Zhen attempted to recruit him for the Great Sui Academy, but Mr. Qi offered only a smile in reply. Wu Yu bowed respectfully, apologizing for the disturbance. The scholar waved them off. As they departed, following the path of the young woman, Gao Zhen asked if she was dead. Wu Yu shook his head. Her flying sword will only delay the inevitable, he said. He explained how she had deliberately performed a calculated act, attempting to intimidate him while hiding her true limitations. Despite the confrontation, Gao Zhen was pleased with their acquisition. They had obtained far more than expected, including the Jade Seal, and perhaps even greater treasures, though he lamented the small copper coin pouch he had given a boy earlier. Wu Yu laughed, amused at the prince's miserly nature. Meanwhile, a young Daoist priest with a lotus flower hat wheeled his cart down Clay Vase Alley. Suddenly, a slender figure in black stumbled out. Collapsing near him, she clutched his ankle, unconscious. The priest, panicked, muttered prayers and curses, unsure how to help her. The flying sword hovered dangerously close to him, compelling his cooperation. He carefully placed a locust leaf on the young woman's mangled hand. Miraculously, her injuries healed instantly. The priest marveled at the power he had witnessed. realizing that her fate was intertwined with forces far greater than he understood. He pondered who could bear the burden of assisting her, debating the clans of the town for someone blessed by fortune yet poor enough to take on the task without harm. Finally, he resolved to act with care and prayer, hoping the divine would guide him. With the young woman secured in his cart, he knocked at a courtyard gate. Inside, a longsword in a pristine white scabbard lay in the corner, the flying sword sullenly resting within, silently expressing its displeasure toward the Daoist priest for bringing its owner to such a rundown place. The young Daoist priest had already made up a long-winded spiel in response to the inevitable question of, "Who's there?" from Chen Ping'an. But to his surprise, the gate was quickly opened, and he did not even have to announce his identity to the young boy inside. The narrow alley in which they stood made leaving the cart outside impossible. It would have blocked everyone trying to pass. Yet, despite Chen Ping'an's thin frame and unassuming appearance, he displayed a surprising strength, effortlessly moving the heavy cart into his courtyard. Throughout this, Chen Ping'an remained silent, his expression unreadable. The young Daoist priest felt an awkward tension rising between them, as though he had visited with a request for charity, only to be met with unexpected kindness, leaving him unsure how to proceed. Seeing no alternative, he decided to reveal the truth immediately. He pulled back the cotton blanket covering the cart, revealing a young woman dressed in black, curled in a fetal position. Her veiled hat sat crookedly upon her head, stubbornly shielding her face. As soon as the blanket was lifted, the metallic scent of blood filled the air, and Chen Ping'an finally registered the severity of her condition. Blood had seeped through her garments, and instinctively, he stepped back. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. The Daoist priest, speaking rapidly and with a hint of slurred urgency, explained that she had suffered serious injuries and that no one in the town would help her. He claimed that after exhausting all other options, he had come to Chen Ping'an, believing he might be the only one willing to offer aid. Chen Ping'an asked how she had been injured. The Daoist priest concocted a story. She had been making a rubbing of an inscription on an archway, a practice intended to replicate calligraphy or artwork. She had climbed the archway, absorbed in her work, and ultimately fell onto the stone below. Her fall onto such a hard surface, he explained, would have caused severe trauma, potentially even to her internal organs. Yet, he insisted that she had survived, due to a combination of her remarkable willpower and a mysterious training that protected her vital organs. Though Chen Ping'an struggled to understand the rapid account, he could see the urgency in the young Daoist priest's eyes. After a tense moment, he nodded. "How do we save her?" he asked. The Daoist priest, elated, explained that the initial step involved carefully moving her to Chen Ping'an's room and changing her into clean clothes. Then, they would need specific medicinal ingredients from a local shop. He assured Chen Ping'an that once these steps were taken, he would handle the remainder of her recovery. Chen Ping'an hesitated, concerned that she might react violently once awake. But the Daoist priest assured him that he was her savior and that she would not turn against him. Chen Ping'an considered asking a neighbor, Ji Gui, for assistance, but the Daoist priest indicated that this was not advisable, despite lingering questions about the strange nature of the woman and the Daoist priest. Chen Ping'an resolved to focus on helping her first. The Daoist priest discreetly used a spell to confine the young woman's flying sword to its scabbard, ensuring she could not act impulsively during treatment. Chen Ping'an carefully lifted her onto his back and carried her into his room, placing her on the repaired plank bed, supported by a small bench beneath. Chen Ping'an then fetched a tub and a gourd spoon from his water vat. Filled with fresh water from the iron lock well, he cleaned the blood from her face with a careful, methodical touch, showing a combination of urgency and tender concern. The Daoist priest handed him a list of ingredients for her recovery, instructing him to visit the small medicine shop on Fortune Street and to keep the matter secret. Chen Ping'an ensured he had sufficient money, exchanging a golden copper coin for smaller denominations at the Daoist priest's request. Before leaving, Chen Ping'an reflected on the town's unusual nature. He recalled tales from Old Man Yao, who once admitted that the town was full of strange people and phenomena. Though he could not fully explain it, he mentioned witnessing impossible feats, a storyteller whose bowl poured more water than physically possible, and a tall woman who had predicted his imminent death. These experiences convinced him that the Daoist priest and the young woman were not ordinary individuals. Then, in a quiet, almost hesitant voice, Chen Ping'an made a request. If, in the future, he were to die, could the Daoist priest help him be reincarnated and return to his parents in his next life? Though uncertain and bashful, he asked this as a final condition for his cooperation. The Daoist priest did not respond immediately. Chen Ping'an, trying to regain composure, turned away with a small laugh and determination, saying, "I would be a fool not to save someone as pretty as her." With that, he exited his room and made his way through the alley. But as he stepped into Clay Vase Alley, a sudden memory of someone entered his mind, and his cheerful facade instantly crumbled. Tears began to stream down his face, unbidden and raw, revealing the deep layers of emotion beneath his otherwise composed exterior. In this episode, we saw Chen Ping'an face an unexpected challenge when a young Daoist priest brought a seriously injured woman to his doorstep. Despite his youth and inexperience, Chen Ping'an showed remarkable courage and compassion, carefully tending to her wounds and following the priest's guidance to gather the necessary medicinal ingredients. Through this episode, we also glimpsed Chen Ping'an's strong sense of responsibility, his extraordinary memory, and the deep layers of emotion that drive his actions, even when confronted with uncertainty and danger. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Sword of Coming. If you enjoyed this episode or found it interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for the latest updates on Chen Ping'an's journey. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos.